Hello and welcome to the Cayman Islands. Judy's back in the UK visiting family and I'm sure getting some proper bad weather. Things are great here in Grand Cayman, but we did continue to get challenging conditions on the way up. Hope you enjoy the film. Coming up, the main attraction at San Andreas. Another nighttime arrival. And Grand Cayman, the place that has everything. Well, we've been sitting in San Andreas for quite some time now with really bad weather, and although we left in the sunshine, the bad weather has come back. It comes every 10 minutes. We've got the wind and the rain, but we are heading out because we can't leave this place without going to what they call the aquarium.
We can't even see it now, actually. The rain's come across us, but yeah, it's a fantastic place within a reef, and you can see all kinds of fish there.
Rays, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, we couldn't leave without actually going. We've been watching the tourist boats coming past every day. I think the Colombians are a bit hardier than us. They've been coming in the rain with their swimsuits on, the bikinis, sunbathing. It's quite a way though, two nautical miles. We've got the Epa potion on, but you know, if we get there slowly, but it'll make it. It's got the range.
It has. It is raining quite hard now though. Oh my God, have we made a mistake?
No, it'll be worth it. But it's warm rain and a warm sea, shallow too. There's a few fish close in, but the main area marked on the tourist map is inside the walkway that leads to the party island. The water is clear, but the thing you'll see most are other people's legs. I have to say, San Andreas has been a disappointment all round, and this is no exception. We did see a ray though. And we managed to get back before the next downpour.
I just want to tell you about the sponsor for this episode, Surfshark. It's the VPN we've been using for the past 3 years. We use the internet on board pretty much all the time to browse for information about locations we're going to, checking in and checking out of countries, and of course for navigation. As we get ready to go sailing again, we are looking at the wind, the swell, and getting the latest weather report, which gives us the big picture of what we can expect over the next few days. Weather reports and weather can change, but with Surfshark we know our internet is always safe wherever we are. As threats from viruses evolve over time, so does the Surfshark software. It scans from the moment you log on, checking your connection isn't compromised, even when you're out at sea. Surfshark is the only VPN that has never let us down, and we've tried quite a few over the years. So if you want to give it a try, click on the link here showing on the screen, surfshark.com/Fair Isle. The link is also in the description. And don't forget, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now back to the episode.
Okay, we've basically been monitoring predict wind every day for the last fortnight or so, trying to find a weather window out of here. You can see it's still pouring with rain here, but we do think we found a decent enough weather window starting tomorrow. It looks like the rain is going to stop, looking at the radar map on here. But I want to show you actually some things on here. I'll put it up on screen that you might not have seen, because we've got the paid-for version of this, and if you're using the free one, then some of these things you can't actually access. So first of those is the currents, tidal currents here. You can see we're on the white dot at the bottom, we're heading for the blue dot at the top. You would have to move the centre to get the whole thing in there. It shows you in sections when you go on to this. But you see, the best way really for us, we're going to have to try and fight our way east to get up into that stream. It's going to be a bit of a fight because the wind is not good. If I just flick that across and show you what the wind's basically doing. Scroll through the next couple of days. It comes a little bit around tomorrow from the east, but there's a big strong north component in it the whole time. It's quite strong, and when you actually look at the swell as well, it's not good. So we are going to be bashing into it, but believe me, this is a lot better than it's been days previously. And the way I sort of check that is another thing that you have on here, which I think is really good. You can go into sail planning, and it will look forward and show you sort of day by day how things are. So if I press on the little clock up there and say I want to start tomorrow in the 10th, it's the 9th today, and I say, okay, let's just press the calculate route button there, and it'll sit there and it'll whirl around. It takes sort of 10-20 seconds, and it'll find the best route up. So we've got the routes hidden a little bit behind the things there now, but we're starting in the green dot up to the red. So I've already set that. You set that in first, tells you what route you're doing, and it will try and find out the best route between those two places, given sort of an average of all the models. It looks at all the different models that it has and tries to average that, and tries to sort of work out how long it would take you day by day, and what the best day might be to go, or the best time if you're just doing a short trip on one time, one day, and you're trying to find the best time. So it's done it now. So if I pull the little cursor along, you'll see, oh, it hasn't quite done it, it's still whirring. Okay, now we're there. So if I put it along, first one, it's got quite a good direct route. Second day, this is leaving at the same time, 9 o'clock. Third day, yeah, it's only come across a bit. Fourth day, you'll be right over, because you've got that really strong wind coming in, that would mean basically, yeah, trying to get across and then probably motor sail up to it. So definitely better off leaving today or tomorrow really on this, looking at that. I mean, I think the best way to look at it really is to hit the thing at the top that says tables, and it give you table look there. So it says tomorrow it will take us 3.13 days, and then 3.19 and 3.45 and 3.83. So I mean, that's been sometimes 4 or 5 days in the past that it would take us, because we would be beating up there. Sometimes there's a massive difference. So it's a good way of sort of looking at it and seeing what's there, and what the best way is. One of the other things I quite like to do on these, if there's a big difference between the models, you can get the wind models up there. Press on, I'm going to turn it round into landscape, and press that button over there, and it'll give you two different models, so I can sort of compare one to another. So let's have PWE versus GFS and look at those, and it'll come up and it will sort of show you as a good comparison the difference between each model. So it'll just sit there and work a little bit. So this is now, and as you'd expect, they're fairly similar, but as I go forward in time, you can see the GFS is looking really quite nice. It's coming round as dead on the east and not too hard, whereas the PWE is saying it's been straight on the nose from the north. So it's a bit of a lottery which of those we're going to get. Obviously we hope we get the GFS and not the PWE models. Lots of things to check on here. Obviously there's a million and one things. I'll go through and I'll try and do a whole thing on Predict Wind and go through all the different functions that it has. But yeah, let's hope this rain stops and we can get going tomorrow.
An early start with no rain and some actual sun. And a police escort out of the bay, as far as the reef anyway. I don't think they fancied the swell.
So this is the problem with it having been so windy for so long. It's pretty swelly out here, and it's close. They're about 3 seconds apart, so just sort of up and down, but hopefully get into deeper water and the period will be better. Just going very close to the reef in here, some fishermen bobbing around out here. It's amazing how well a job that reef does of protecting that anchorage, because it's on the windward side of the island, but it's a really nice calm anchorage right the way through it, even in all the wind that we've had. But yeah, a little bit further, stick the sails up.
As expected, we started with a beat, and the mixed conditions we've come to expect in the Western Caribbean, lulls and squalls. It's a bit wearing.
hasn't been a great trip as forecast. The wind has been a bit challenging. It's the first sort of lull we've had. There's been lots of squalls and rain and all sorts of stuff. But I want to go through on the predict wind thing here. The one thing that we didn't show in that first thing through, which is the sow routing. We did the sow planning before, the sow routing. So if I press the blue arrow at the top there, it will download a route for the best route that it thinks for each of the weather predictions. So for all the different models. So you can see it's brought them all up here. They're all pretty much in agreement. They weren't at the beginning because there's been a wind shift, and some of them had the wind shift and some didn't. You can hide which ones you want and just leave the ones on you want. So I think that the Predict Wind Global has been the most accurate so far, so I just leave that one on. So this is what it's showing me, which is very encouraging if that's right, because I can do it now without putting these horrible tacks in going backwards, which is what I've been having to do so far. And also, if we have a look at the bottom here, we can go, instead of looking at wind, we can look at rain, clouds, whatever you want, but waves, but currents, the sort of important one here, because there are some big currents. So I'll look at that and it'll download different currents. So you can see where we are now. We're just going north, we're in that flow. So the blue bit in the middle is actually a sort of a whole shallow reefy section there. So you go either side of that and you can sort of get this train up. I was hoping actually to get further east and to get in that thick bit of red over there, but it's just too much of a battle to get that much east in. If you're trying to put this onto to your Navionics map or whatever chart bottom you've got, that's quite difficult. I wish there was one where you could sort of overlay it. Maybe there is if someone knows about that. But what I do, if there's somewhere important, go on it, get the lat long, then go over and bring up and actually just put a point in. You can see actually I've got that little blue point in there, which is a lat long that I put in, which is to aim for that side of that atoll as we came through in that strong stream. As I say, we've fallen short of that, so we're going to go around the other side of it now and up. So yeah, it is useful. We update it as we go, and it's hopefully going to save us some time, get us there a bit quicker.
We're trying to limit the nights at sea as they've been so wearing with the squalls. Tonight though, it's actually mainly good. Flatter sea and a fantastic moon.
Well, on our third day at sea, and finally wind has come round on the beam. Hallelujah. First time we've not been beating into horrible seas and really nasty rain conditions and the rest of it. Since we started, we have had 3 or 4 squalls already today, though it's midday, so it might look nice now, but it just doesn't stay that way. It's not stable, that's the problem, and that's why, still, as you can see, should we shake that reef out in the mainsail, but I'm not going to, because it's not going to last longer than an hour or so, and then I'll be reefing it back down again. So yeah, pretty tiring, because that's the thing, when it's only 2 of you on board and you've got these sorts of conditions, don't get that much sleep, because every time actually I've sort of gone down thinking, oh, I'll get a few hours, something's happened, I'll have to come back on deck, and then by the time you've done that, your sort of adrenaline's going, you go back down maybe 15 minutes later, but you don't get to sleep. So yeah, pretty knackered. So 2 more days to go, hopefully should stay on the beam now at least, and get in reasonably quickly.
Arriving in Grand Cayman, you head for Georgetown to check in. Being close to Cuba, they closely monitor small boats, so a call to port security is in order.
Georgetown Port Security, Georgetown Port Security. This is yacht Fair Isle. Do you read over? Day 14.
On the navigator said he will call you back in 2 minutes. He's gonna call you from the big radio, so he's gonna give him 2 minutes and he'll call you back on channel 9.
Okay, no problem. We're about a mile out. We're just motoring up to where we think he is. I'm not sure exactly where he is, but he can guide us in. Thanks very much for your help.
We were expecting something similar to San Andreas, with lots of bureaucracy and officials to clear in with, but there's none of that. What's happening here is port security are patching me through to the pilot boat to aid my navigation in. We have a long-term patron here, John, who owns the pilot boats and tugs, and he's told the port officials we're coming, and everyone is helping. John's pilot boat captain, Roy, lights up the boat, and we're tied in and asleep by midnight. Lovely. It's a busy anchorage.
So the tenders are backwards and forwards the whole time to the big cruise liners here. You get a little bit of wake from them in the anchorage here, but not too bad. It's a great little place. And we found a little beach up here to beach the dinghy on.
Yeah.
The Coast Guard told us to put it there yesterday. They're super helpful here, aren't
They really are lovely. They just said we could park it there. They gave us a free lift to check in. They came and made sure we slept well this morning. I mean,
Yeah.
amazing.
It is
The boys
incredible.
here are free as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so far we love it.
We do. So we're going to go and explore. As you can see, we have piled up with laundry. We've gathered quite a lot of laundry in the time that we've been at sea, and there's a very good laundry here, I think, along with everything else. We had a bit of a trip round with John in the car yesterday. They seem to have everything, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I think this is going to be my kind of place.
We lock the dinghy up more out of habit, probably not necessary here, and walk into the laundry. Heaven. 3 loads at the same time, and for once, washing doesn't take all day. Just as well because there's a proper supermarket to visit. So far, this is number 1 for the Caribbean. Superfoods in Aruba being a close second, and IGA in Grenada a distant third. But trust me, you don't find this often in the Caribbean. A great selection, but like elsewhere, some variable prices.
Wednesday down.
Yeah, but $12. Really?
So how much is the meat?
That is $42.99.
Yeah. Why is pork so cheap?
But there's definitely some good food to be had.
Good potatoes. What
Steve?
have you found?
Yay!
Yeah.
Self-raising flour!
Fantastic.
And Judy's easily pleased.
Yeah, and you do need a car around the island. So thank you, John, for lending us this car with his fantastic boot.
Amazing. It's going to be very useful.
I don't know how we're going to fit it in the dinghy though.
We did fit it in, and we even had time for an evening dip. We had seen the cruise ships taking people out in the anchorage, and surprisingly, it was really good. We're going to move from Georgetown though. Grand Cayman has some really good spots. You can sneak in behind the reef in the southwest corner, but the main area is this enormous lagoon, nicely protected by a reef that stretches the entire length of the northern coast. And for 100% protection, you can come into one of the creeks and either anchor or pick up one of the free hurricane buoys. It is shallow though, and local knowledge is always good. So we're lucky to be joined by Pilot Captain Roy, who we met on the first night.
It's not very deep, but you have a lot of coral head that's sticking out. And we've been in there back and forth, so we get familiar with it. So it's a lot easier when you have someone to take you in there.
Okay, now, for someone with the experience that you've had on boats, I'm amazed to hear this is the first time on a sailboat.
It's my first time. It's quiet, peaceful. I love it. I love it.
Navionics auto routing surprisingly has us taking the first opening. That's not the route we pick.
For this vessel this size, and safety part, main channel. That one over there,
Yeah.
as you can see, that's deep single city channel.
Yeah. So
I could get you through there, but it's not safe.
No.
So we're going to use the main channel.
Yeah. Look at those racing waves.
Safely in and time for a cup of tea while we admire the many millionaire mansions that line the waterfronts here.
I'm only asking once, would you let me take a minute of your time?
It reminds us of the Netherlands where we bought Fair Isle, just more expensive and warmer.
Don't care if you hurt me, lead me on for fun. Not for once I'm telling you, don't keep this up. You lose someone who really loves you, not that he can bother you.
So it is a nice flat anchorage, and there's a yacht club just in here with a little jetty, so we tend to tie up just at the end of that.
At the end of the jetty. I'm not sure we're really supposed to. It's for fishing boats, but yeah, it's absolutely fine. There's a rig. That's all we need.
Yeah. And we've got the car, of course, thanks to John. So we've got the car in the car park there, and we can just pick that up and go and explore, which is what we're going to go and do now.
We're going to Rum Point.
Rum Point.
That sounds great.
Yeah. So we've been told we have to stop at this place here for these, which are called
Mudslides. So this is what this place is famous for, and it's our evil concoction.
There's vodka and Baileys in there. It's good.
Ice cream, cocktails and a lovely swim. Well, it was Judy's last day. We will enjoy exploring Grand Cayman properly when she gets back. In the meantime, it's on with the jobs, getting ahead of the game before I lift next week.
Okay, so that's where I am at the moment, trying to get as much done as possible before a lift in a couple of days' time. As you can see, I've been doing quite a lot of sanding on the sole. All the bits that I can carry outside have been taken out and had its first sanding. As you can see, I'm going to have to bite the bullet and get rid of all this stuff inside, make a mess in here. And this evening's job is going to be my bucket of locks here that I'm going to be polishing up. This morning's job was doing the bilges. I've reconfigured the bilge pump on the sled in here, which wasn't working properly. 2 out of 3 of the bilge pumps weren't working properly. That's quite often the case with bilge pumps. It's well worth checking them often. I've got a whole list of stuff to check here. When we do lift out, there's going to be some quite technical stuff. I'm going to take the rudder off, going to pull the prop shaft, change the drippler seal, all that sort of stuff as well. But I'm looking forward to clearing up and doing the beauty stuff, coming in here and doing the varnishing. We've got a varnish called Gleam, which comes from Total Boat. Megan from Total Boat, by the way, has been absolutely fantastic in getting stuff to us here, along with Nancy, who's a contact of John's, a freight forwarder who's got it here. It's all waiting for me now in the yard for when we get in. So yeah, looking forward to getting all that done. So as ever, thank you to our viewers, thank you to our patrons, and this week, a special thank you to John.